Today is Thursday, June the 29th, 2017. The time being 1:08 p.m. Central Time. I'm not going to say Charleston, Missouri time this time because I'm not in Charleston, Missouri. I am in Missouri, but this is one of my favorite spots where I want to sit down and relax, or get me a blanket and lay down. It'll be almost like in Chicago when you at the Oak Street, North Avenue, Fullerton, Montreux Beach. Some of my Chicago friends know what I'm talking about. But I come today is to say that Tuesday, I believe it was, the 27th, I was at the Mississippi County Courthouse in Charleston, Missouri, the 33rd Circuit, where a judge out of Cape Girardeau, Missouri, by the name of Judge Gary Camp, one I'm familiar with. I believe him to be a just judge. December 4th of 2015, he heard a case that was against me, an expo tape that a judge out of the 33rd Circuit in Mississippi County granted an individual. But Judge Camp came from the 32nd Circuit here out of Cape Girardeau, Missouri, and heard the case for 2.5 hours, and he dismissed the case. I represented myself and the individual and the people he working for. They had an attorney, and Judge Camp stood on the law. I watched Judge Camp this Tuesday in the preliminary hearing of the ousted sheriff of Mississippi County in Charleston, Missouri, by the name of Corey Huxton, who had 18 criminal cases charged against him by the Missouri State Attorney General. A couple of them was dismissed, but on Tuesday, Judge Camp found probable cause on the robbery on the sheriff for a 77-year-old lady out of East Paramus, Missouri. But when I sat in that courtroom, I sat in there during the morning time. It started about maybe 11 o'clock and went to about 12, and then went from 1 o'clock to maybe almost 3. And I was the only black that was sitting in there. Didn't have no problem with anybody. And I saw some attorneys that was high power attorneys, the Attorney General, the Assistant Attorney General, and then a lawyer out of St. Louis, Missouri, I believe it was, Bloom, who represented Corey Huxton. When I seen that case, I was listening to everything, me knowing the law, watching judges being called to testify, watching FBI agents being called to testify, watching Missouri State Highway Patrols being called to testify, Mississippi County clerks, and all type of people being called. But I seen something that both sides was justly represented. And it's something that don't happen in the 33rd Circuit here, because most of the time people is being represented by public defenders, or most of the judges, with the exception of Judge Dolan, who testified on Tuesday. I never had an encounter with Judge Dolan, but the other judges in the 33rd Circuit I seen wasn't fair, not just to me, but to others. I used to think the whole Southeast Missouri was a place that blacks couldn't live without being wrongfully treated, misused, or looked at as some other than a human being. But the place that I'm at now, it's a whole different thing. I love this area. White and blacks treat me as if I'm a human being. They don't do like Adolf Hitler did. He felt that we wasn't all human beings. But my point is, if I decide to stay in Missouri, this will be a place that I want to stay. See, I don't have to worry about the police knocking on my door, coming into my house, taking my children out without a search warrant or without having Children and Family Service being a part of an investigation. I want to tell y'all, pray for me and my family, that God find us the right place to stay so my daughters and them can live in peace like this. We can't do it in Charleston, Missouri, because, and I don't blame the white folks about this here, I had to build a fence. $400 worth of material just to keep a neighbor out of my yard, to keep the peace. When I built it up, it wasn't minutes later when the children got to pulling it on that. I had to go spend more money putting private property signs. But here where I'm at now, I'm not gonna have to worry about that, because the police in this city, in Missouri, they enforce the law. And they not gonna, I don't have to build a fence, because they gonna make sure my neighbors, they gonna make sure anybody else, whether they're white or black, treat everybody equal. I like to leave y'all as I came, with the peace and blessings of God. But I want to say this one thing. Why wasn't no black leaders in that courtroom in Charleston, Missouri, in Mississippi County, Tuesday the 27th, when the sheriff was having a preliminary hearing? The sheriff has been charged with 18 counts. Somebody that was the highest ranking police force in our area, in our city. He also is being investigated under criminal investigation for a young man by the name of Tory Sanders out of Nashville, Tennessee, who lost his life on May the 5th, 2017, on a Friday in the Mississippi County Jail. And according to some evidence, the same sheriff who was stripped of his peace officer's authority supposed to lead these officials, some of the sheriff department and some of the police department from Charleston, into this guy's cell where he died. 2 women and I believe another person lost their lives during this particular period of time that he was either the administrator or the sheriff. Why ain't none of these NAACP leaders, a president that's from Charleston, Missouri, been the president for 22 years, why wouldn't him or some of his members be in that courtroom? Because they're not interested. All they're interested in money. Why wasn't no other leaders in that courtroom? You know why? Because they not concerned. I'm concerned. But I'm hoping God get me up out of Charleston, Missouri, a place that I wouldn't advise no black person that want to live a just life and raise their children to work someplace other in a restaurant for the rest of their life. Don't move there. Peace be still.